Good morning, guys. My name's Andrew. I work at ECS Tuning on the BMW product team. I really don't like BMWs, which puts me in a predicament because I own 3 of them. This is my daily driver here. It's a 435. And here we've got what you guys are all here for, my 1994 BMW 325i. So this is probably not the most exciting drift car that we have in the series, but that's kind of by design. I am the worst tech in the group. Pretty good at this. I have the least experience driving, let alone drifting. I chose an E36 sedan for that reason. My first solution was to pick up an E36 M3 because out of the box it's got a limited slip differential. It's got more power than a 325i or any non-M E36. And it really just seemed like the ideal solution for me, but when I picked it up, I fell in love with it and really didn't want to hurt it. I ended up picking up something much uglier that has already been hurt several times. This car started as just Raceland coilovers that were blown out, welded rear diff, 5-speed transmission, and that was really it. It hadn't had any cooling system upgrades, literally nothing, pretty much bone stock E36 that you can take to the track and drift for $2,200. And that's what I did with it. So I broke a bunch of stuff. First the cooling system went, left me and my girlfriend on the side of the road stranded for several hours waiting for AAA and gave both of us PTSD. I fixed that, got involved with the Summer Drift series, and got an astronomical amount of parts thrown at the vehicle. So you really don't need to do anything to your engine in a stock E36 if you want to get started drifting, so I didn't, aside from cooling modifications. So the first thing that happened with my car was it left me stranded on the side of the road on the way back from my first event because the expansion tank blew up trackside. I tried to fix it with electrical tape. That didn't go so well. So we've done a cooling overhaul, which is pretty much the first thing that you should do with any E36 if you want to get started drifting or tracking it or doing anything that involves getting your engine hot. We've got a CSF radiator in here, Mishimoto aluminum cooling expansion tank. We've got ECS silicone hoses. We've got an ECS lightweight aluminum water pump pulley. We got a Stewart water pump in there. AFE was nice enough to give us some intakes. So I've got a brand new AFE intake on there. But aside from that, in terms of power adders, I am the lowest power guy in the group, and that's kind of by design. I didn't feel that I needed it, and I think that it's better if you get started with lower power. Welcome to the cockpit. So we've got just the bare minimum in here, and we started out by just stripping everything, and I did a kind of half-assed job doing that. So I'm like missing a door card here, but I've got all the other door cards, but carpet's gone, dash is still there, I ripped the headliner out, everything's just kind of zip tied and it's a spaghetti mess in here. But apart from that, the cool stuff is probably these 2 big blue things in front of you, right? This is my IRP handbrake, which works now thanks to Kevin. And this is my IRP center spring short shifter. It's pretty long for a short shifter when you look at it, but the throw is really short. And I have the sketchiest mount for my hydro because I made it instead of one of the people who can actually fabricate. It's just, I have a plate under there. It works, and I haven't ripped my tranny tunnel out yet. The other obvious thing that's different in here are the seats. So we've got Momo start seats in here, Schroth harnesses, and a Momo steering wheel, which were a lovely addition to the interior. Really what sets this car apart from a stock E36 and what makes it different from the day that I got it are brakes and suspension. So first touching on the brakes, we've got Hawk Talon rotors in there with some Hawk HPS pads. But what really makes this car different is all the suspension work. So we got a set of Bilstein B16 PSS 9s, and they ride fantastic. In addition to that, we've got an IRP V2 angle kit. So it's basically just extended control arms, super extended tie rods, different lollipops. So that's what allows me to get crazy steering angle. Hopefully you've seen in some of the videos of me actually drifting the crazy angle that I'm able to get with this kit. Kevin has the same one. I I'm really impressed with it, actually. I'd recommend it for sure. So if you're getting started in drifting like I am, the reason why I wanted a hydraulic handbrake was because it looked really cool in the interior. This Chase Bay's dual rear caliper kit also looks really cool, but does a great job of locking up the rear brakes. And I was really able to use that at Circleville in those tight technical corners to kick the car out sideways. And I'm still kind of learning how to use it, but it's definitely something that as you progress, you're gonna use more and more. So when it comes to exhaust, my car's probably the quietest in the group, but not for lack of trying. So this car has Turner Shorty headers on it, going back into a stock mid pipe and then a Scorpion axle back. I think it sounds pretty good. Other people are telling me it's the quietest drift car that they've ever heard. So one of the most difficult jobs for me to accomplish on this car was the clutch and flywheel. I had never done a clutch job on a car before, so it was a huge learning experience for me. And I may or may not have broken several bolts in the bell housing that are still there. That being said, it's got a South Bend Stage 3 clutch in it now with an ECS lightweight flywheel, and the thing feels great and holds up to a lot of abuse. You don't need all that stuff to get started drifting. I had no idea what I was doing at all when I started, and this platform out of the box is the perfect starter platform. I was able to spend basically no money. The car actually came with burner tires too, so all I had to pay was event fees to get out there, get some seat time, and get my feet wet in the drifting world and fall in love with the sport for very little money. So you don't need an E36 M3. You don't need a car with big power. Whatever this thing makes out of the box with the welded diff is just fine to get started, and I encourage anyone who's interested in the sport to scrounge up that $2,000 and just get started like I did. Because it's really exciting and it's a great community. My first corner in this car, I spun out completely. The car stalled and it wouldn't start again, and it was really, really embarrassing. So that feeling was not great. It's kind of like, it reminded me of when I was learning how to drive stick and I got caught in an intersection and kept stalling it and stalling it and stalling it. It's that type of feeling. But once you get over those nerves, it's really fun. Also, you're only as good as the people that you're drifting with, right? Two people in particular that were very inspirational to me, so just being this close to Mike and Kevin and watching them just tear things up every time we went out made me want to do the same exact thing. Now, I don't have the same amount of power, but I wanted to drive just as aggressively and be able to tandem with people. And towards the end of the season, I started to tandem with people. It's really fun. I'm excited for 2020 to be tandeming every time I can and hopefully, tapping some walls with this thing. Thanks for tuning in to see my E36 sedan drift build. I hope that you guys got excited about it, because I sure did. You guys should check out all of our other builds because they're much more exciting than mine. If you haven't seen Mike's build video yet, check that out, it's wild. And if you're looking to get into drifting, if I have one piece of advice for you, don't be a bitch. Just do it. All right, my hands are dirty, so I'm gonna do this. Is it working? I use my hands still.